WarThunder is one of my favorite games, with over 900 hours of gameplay under my belt. However, in this video I want to explore some of the issues the game faces. While I may only scratch the surface on the problems of WarThunder, I do want to cover everything, or at least most of the things that players will most likely encounter. First, we're going to talk about traction. Personally, I think the traction nerf should not have been implemented in the first place, just because it's made it so unnecessarily difficult for many players, such as me, to get up hills that were previously accessible. A much better solution would have simply block off the problematic spots within a map, not make every player suffer from slippery olive oil tracks. Something that we've probably all experienced are ghost shells, where the shell seems to just pass through an enemy vehicle without registering a hit. It's very annoying and frustrating because it leads to missed opportunities and potentially affecting the battle's outcome. It's so dumb, but it's not really Gaijin's fault in this case, as it's really hard to code something like this or fix a problem like this, but I feel like they could just suppress it or something, because it happens so often, and I'm running really good internet, so there should be no excuse as to why this is happening. Another issue that ground forces experience on the battlefield is CAS, or close air support. Honestly, this has been an issue for quite a while. Close air support can heavily influence the outcome of these battles sometimes, and it really makes it frustrating for those focusing on ground units, such as me. In the community, many suggest that the spawn point system needs to have, some minor adjustments, making it harder to bring planes into the fray, which could involve increasing the spawn point cost or limiting the number of planes per player. Another thing is putting more emphasis on SPAAs, or self-propelled anti-aircrafts, perhaps enhancing them. And going back to map design, there could be some changes of map design and an introduction of new game modes without CAS or something. There's a lot of ways that Gaijin could fix this, but it's whatever. Honestly, CAS recently hasn't really bothered me that much, but it definitely is a problem. Moving away from CAS, overpressure is also a finicky and a little bit weird of a problem. Gaijin could probably fix the overpressure problem by implementing more nuanced damage models that account for varying armor thickness, vehicle design, and explosion proximity, and what I've just listed there could probably fix that. This could really involve recalibrating the overpressure mechanics to reflect more realistic blast effects, such as shockwaves or whatever, reducing the lethality for lightly armored or open-top vehicles, unless they are in a critical distance from the explosion. Gaijin could probably introduce incremental damage rather than all-or-nothing approach, where vehicles take varying degrees of damage based on their exposure to the blast wave. Gaijin could also enhance the game's feedback system to better inform players about how or why overpressure damage occurs. That way it could probably be avoided by, new players that don't really understand what's happening. Another problem Gaijin could address is they could improve how tanks are ranked. For example, the T-32 shouldn't have to fight Leopard 1s. They could fix this by adjusting the ranking system to consider the time period and technology of each tank. This would definitely help tanks with similar strengths and abilities. Now, I get that this probably wouldn't happen or work, or it's not even just feasible, but I feel like Gaijin could definitely improve upon their ranking system, because a 3.0 vehicle shouldn't be up-tiered all the way to 4.0, same as 5.0, same as 6.0, and so on and so forth. And some vehicles are just overpowered at their BR. I don't know, I just feel like something could be done to improve upon it. Another issue I have with WarThunder is the UI. Gaijin could definitely make their UI more friendly to new players and even veteran players. Gaijin could implement more intuitive and accessible menu layouts, highlighting key features such as the campaign mode on the menu screen with clear labels and visual cues would help. I had no idea that there was a campaign in this game till a couple days ago, and I've been playing for 4 years. This shit was hidden. People might not like it, but incorporating guided tutorials or pop-up tips for new players can ensure that they are aware of the available game modes and features, making the overall experience more welcoming and less overwhelming. Now to talk about a big one, the grind. The grind is so unbelievably grueling. To address the grind issue in WarThunder to make it easier to unlock new vehicles, Gaijin could definitely increase the rewards for gameplay. Increase the Silver Lion and Research Point rewards for participating in battles, especially for achieving objectives and performing well. Introduce more rewarding daily and weekly missions that provide significant boosts to SL and RP, encouraging regular play. You could also improve upon the benefits benefits of having a premium account, such as higher RP and SL multipliers, and special premium-only events with increased rewards. Ensure that premium vehicles offer substantial RP and SL gains, making them more attractive for players aiming to progress faster. But don't make them overpowered. I'm just saying more along the lines of the Talesman. They could definitely simplify the research tree to make it more intuitive and reduce the RP requirements for unlocking vehicles, especially at higher tiers. They could definitely allow players to focus on specific vehicle types, heavy tanks, light tanks, SPAA, etc. By providing modular research paths, they could lower the repair and maintenance costs for vehicles, allowing players to return more SL for researching and purchasing new vehicles. Gaijin could probably do something like dynamic pricing, implementing dynamic pricing for vehicles based on their usage and popularity, making it easier to afford less used vehicles. I feel like Gaijin could definitely listen to their community a little bit more, actively engage with the player community to gather feedback on the grind issues and implement suggested improvements. And as mentioned before, Gaijin definitely needs to have balanced matchmaking. Implement or improve matchmaking to ensure fair, balanced battles, allowing players to perform better and earn more rewards. Optimize matchmaking to reduce wait times, increasing overall gameplay satisfaction and reward accumulation. Now, I don't play air often, but it sometimes feels like the damage models can sometimes feel inconsistent, with certain hits causing disproportionate damage or seemingly invincible aircrafts. Gaijin could probably improve upon the damage models by incorporating more detailed damage mechanics, including better simulation of structural damage, fire, and component failure. Similar to tanks, I do feel like matchmaking could have a little bit of tweaking. I'm not saying have historical battles, that would be awful, but the BR system sometimes places aircrafts in battles where they are outclassed, leading to unbalanced experiences. Now, I don't know if I have a skill issue or something, which is probably the case, but I really don't know. Please comment down below what you guys think. A potential fix, similar to tanks, is rework the BR system to ensure more balanced matchups, possibly by introducing dynamic BR adjustments based on performance data. And just like tanks, the economy and grind is awful. The grind for new aircraft and upgrades can be excessively long, leading for player frustration, and sometimes my friends have just left. I have had many friends that I have introduced to WarThunder and they just don't play. Similar to tanks, adjust the economy to make progression a little more reasonable, perhaps by increasing rewards as said prior. Now, it doesn't really happen to me that often, but it definitely is quite an annoyance that you guys have probably experienced too. Spawn camping and airfield strikes. Spawn camping in any game is pretty annoying. Gaijin should probably implement stronger anti-air at the bases or implement stronger anti-spawn camping measures, such as invincibility for a short period of time after spawning, and yeah. Now, while I'm playing air, this honestly happens to me a lot. I have some really bad performance issues. Now, I don't know if this is on my end or if it's just the server. I really only seem to have this issue with air. The instability of a server can definitely impact on how players play. I mean, obviously. And lastly, one of my problems with air is definitely the lack of a tutorial. I mean, you get tutorials within the game, but after I was thrown into an actual battle, I didn't really feel taught. Those tutorials haven't changed in forever, so I feel like it could definitely change. I'll just be perfectly honest, I did not know people played Naval. Turns out people do exist in this realm, but I couldn't get in a match, or at least my patience wouldn't let me. So I can't really list any problems with Naval because I've never really played it before. All I know is that it's definitely grueling to get into a match. I tried with arcade, I tried with realistic. It just took forever to get into a match, so I just hopped in a custom battle for background footage. Yeah, you would have to watch someone else to figure out the problems of WarThunder Naval. I am so sorry. I just have no idea what's wrong with, you know, Naval. I'm sure there's plenty wrong with it. I mean, look at the rest of the game, but not here. I literally don't know what's going on in Naval, so yeah, I'm sorry. Anyways, that's going to be the end of the episode. Thank you all for watching, and please consider subscribing. See you in the next one.